ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृश्यं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. In the last session, we discussed about the possible hurdles that a seeker can face when he takes up the direct path. First hurdle is one is not inspired to take up this self-enquiry. Then the second, he has interest but is unable to come out from the net of the thoughts. Third, one is able to subdue thoughts transiently and locate the underlying I thought, but he is unable to initiate effective enquiry on the I thought. Then the fourth, one is successful to enquire the I thought, but is carried away by the so-called divine thoughts. Then fifth, after successful enquiry, one is still carried away by the notion that shunyata prevails after the I thought is negated with effective enquiry. So then through sloka 20, we have seen how there is no scope for shunyata, as the reality which is the real I reveals itself as and when the illusionary I is enquired. So sloka 20 described reality as parama purna sat, or infinite existence. So the absolute existence that is immune to limitation of time, space and object. There is no second object in existence to limit the reality. It is the all-inclusive wholeness. Or you can say it is devoid of limitation from time, space and causation. They both mean same. Being one without a second, if you say it is not a cause for something or it causes something, both. So it is devoid of the limitation of causation too. So what is there after successful enquiry? What is there is absolute presence. It is there in experience as that absolute presence. So it is not nothing. But at the most you can say, if you want to explain in terms of nothing, then it is nothingness. We have seen now how this ness implies sat, that is astitvam. Astitvam that renders existence to even the concept of nothing. To say nothing also, there should be an existence there. Only then you can comment on it. An existence to support your notion of nothing. Then as a homework, you are asked to initiate self-enquiry and remain as Parama Purna Sat. Did it go well? Or your effort is halted by any of the hurdles we discussed?
At least now I could identify those hurdles as and when they cropped up, maybe in each of the different stages. And I found that most of them occur at different points of time in the sadhana. At least now I recognize or identify those distractions and use the process to come to that, our real goal.
Good.
So in the different stages, myself not able to hold on to I thought. Consciously, I'm trying to come out of it.
And then?
Experiencing the Parama Purna Sat. Very short interval of time, that is.
Okay. Now I'll put one more question then to all of you. Is this process of self-enquiry easy or difficult?
Progressively easy, Maharaj. As you revise the course, it becomes swifter, you know more, so it becomes more automatic.
Like when we are careful, we are easily able to get this Paramapurna Sat. And many times it is our mind is careless.
So?
And that is why we are. It is very easy to get when we are careful, but when we are careless, it's very difficult to hold on to it.
Can't say exactly. Sometimes it becomes easy and sometimes it doesn't even come to the point even.
We have to say it is indeed difficult. But we have to admit that it is easy or easier than the easiest for those who have Vairagya and Viveka. You don't immediately jump into conclusions. You should not immediately tell, without those two, why will I even renounce my house? I will explain them. So that is fine. I don't say you don't have them, you have. But here, you all are working on it for some time. But just as one of you said, for few moments you feel Parama Purna Sat. So few moments means it is not few moments that you are missing the Parama Purna Sat. Few moments we are able to remain as Parama Purna Sat. So then it is difficult. But then if it is difficult, then why should we venture into this? Because it is also easy for those who have Vairagya and Viveka. So you all know about the importance of these two. All traditional texts start by describing about them. So if a truth seeker is like a bird flying towards the destination of Jivan Mukti, these two are like two wings, Vairagya and Viveka. By this you can understand the vital role they have in this journey towards unchanging peace. Guru Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna used to put a lot of emphasis on these two in his discussions. So Swami Vivekananda too later used to emphasize how important they are. In the context of direct path of self-enquiry, Vairagya and Viveka need to be redefined. They need to be redefined in a way they remain as the potent force to eliminate all the hurdles in the path of Atma Vichara. So in classical Vedanta, Vairagya often means renouncing worldly objects, desires, or comfort. In the context of self-enquiry, Vairagya is the ability to refuse the mind from being carried away by thoughts. It is not running away to a forest. It is the refusal to let the mind go outward towards any object or thought. So Vairagya is the disinterest that prevents us from entertaining, developing, or identifying with the thought. Ramana Maharshi defines Vairagya in his famous discussion on Who Am I? He says, as thoughts arise, destroying them completely without any residue at the very place of their origin is Vairagya, he says. So he has set the bar very high for Vairagya. So the moment a thought arises, whether it is a base thought or whether it is a noble thought, Vairagya is the disinterest that prevents us from entertaining, developing, or identifying with that thought. It is the capability to question who is having all these thoughts. And by that, you are tracing them to their very anchor, that is the I thought. Later, it is the competence that we have to inquire where did this I come from. This shifts Vairagya from a moral or emotional struggle into a direct tool of inquiry. Did you understand this? Now tell, if one possesses this Vairagya, how many hurdles will he cross with ease among the hurdles what we discussed?
All the hurdles.
Zero hurdle.
All hurdles?
He will have no hurdle. He will have no hurdle at all.
Aha. Do you all agree with that?
That up to third hurdle maybe, according to my, because the fourth hurdle is thinking about the divine thoughts.
Then
No, I think what he's saying is he's not identifying the holy thoughts as a distraction, but as we had discussed, you had mentioned in the earlier class. So anything besides our true objective, our real nature, would be considered a distraction. So in that case, he would have to go beyond that. And Vairagya towards even the Ishta, if that is the cause, then that would imply he would be able to come to the direct path with the Vairagya.
yes, because we have affinity for those divine thoughts, you may not be ruthless in negating them. But when you say reduce it to as a thought, it is a thought finally. Yes? So when I say you have to transcend all objective phenomenon, then if a form of a deity comes, then what do you say? Is it an objective phenomenon or not? It is an objective phenomenon. So when the way I described Vairagya, even that you can transcend. But then what about the fifth hurdle? Fifth one, how do you transcend with Vairagya? What is the fifth hurdle?
Distraction, blankness.
That how can we cross? With just by Vairagya? So we can cross the first four hurdles with ease. Now let us discuss Viveka in the context of self-enquiry. Traditional Viveka involves intellectually dissecting the real from the unreal. That is Nitya versus Anitya. In the direct path, Viveka is not an intellectual debate. It is the inward quest for the only subject. It is the capability to not be carried away with subtle states of quietude that one experiences when the thought current in the mind has ceased. It is the capability to not get stuck with a fleeting no mind state or ajnana. It is also the ability that prevents one to fall prey to various narratives of the mind. Narratives of the mind about the final state of Kaivalya. It clears the path for the reality to wake up to its own glory. So Viveka is clear now. Now do you have these two with you? The way I described. Viveka and Vairagya.
Not to the extent that as you have described.
So first we should know this clearly. Why we should know this? So that it will give us a lot of enthusiasm to develop them. Not that we don't have, we may have, but we may not have it in the strength that it is required to complete this journey. So what we need to do? We need to develop them. So the very aim to renounce is to develop these two. Yes, you agree? One section of the people, they all felt that by being in the world and doing the routine things, it is very difficult to develop these two. So they have advised renunciation, and following that, we all have renounced. If you already have, then why to renounce? We felt we have, but now we are realizing what we have is only marginal if we have to reach the goal. So if these two are there, then you will not have any further issues. If you say, I have these two, that's why I am successful in self-enquiry, then it is a moment for celebration. But if you say, I am successful in self-enquiry, but still have trouble after self-enquiry, when I am active with my seva, then you are stuck at the sixth hurdle. What is the sixth hurdle? So this hurdle will not hold good for everybody. Why? This is a hurdle which will apply for those who feel that they are very much successful in self-enquiry. but they still have trouble after self-inquiry. I am able to sit for how much time, how much ever time I allot, I am able to sit as Purna Sat. But after that, I have trouble. If anybody says like that, then they are stuck at sixth hurdle. That is the illusion of knowledge. This is the sixth hurdle. What is this illusion of knowledge? In the light of Atma Vichara, that is self-inquiry, the illusion of knowledge is the mind's tendency to mistake conceptual mastery of spiritual truths for direct realization of the self. It occurs when an individual accumulates ideas, terminology, and spiritual insights about non-duality, believing they have understood reality, while the entity claiming to understand, the ego, that remains completely intact. This is very subtle hurdle, or in a way subtlest of all hurdles. People generally assume ignorance is the biggest hurdle to understanding, but it is not so. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. The solution to handle that is offered by Ramana Maharshi in the next verse. Sloka 21. Idamaham padam abhikyamanvaham ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya. What is Ramana Maharshi offering us through this loaded sloka? So now you listen very carefully, as this verse is described by scholars in a different way. The verse which we are discussing now. So we are discussing it in a way that it will solve these hurdles what we have. Mainly the hurdle of ignorance and the hurdle of illusion of knowledge. So here idam. Idam means what? This. It is referring back to the Parama Purna Sat, the supreme reality that is revealed in Sloka 20. Aham Pada. Abhikyam means what? The reality is denoted by the word I. That is the real I. Aham Pada. Anvaham means it is there at all times, daily, continuously, day in and out. Ahami. Then when the I, here it is the limited individuality. See, in the same sloka there is a reference for both. Ahami linake means that aham, that individuality is dissolved or merged, as in deep sleep or samadhi. Alaya sattaya means by the virtue of its imperishable, indestructible existence. Here again the reference is to what? To the reality, to the real I, being alaya, without dissolution, destruction. Sattaya, by its very nature as pure existence or being. So here this supreme reality, which is the real I, signified by the word aham, is there changelessly, continuously, because the other I, the individual I, it gets dissolved in deep sleep. That is not there continuously, but there is something which is there continuously, that is the real I. That is what the sloka says. How is it there continuously? How is that possible? It endures by virtue of its indestructible, ever abiding existence. Alaya Sattaya. So Ramana Maharshi in this sloka is describing two I's, one in contrast to another. So what are they? First is the relative I, the changing intermittent ego, that ego that undergoes dissolution. And then you have the absolute I, Ahampada Abhikyam, the constant non-dissolving reality that is present unbroken, Anvaham. Let us see this in detail. The first is the intermittent shifting I, the ego, Ahankara. The empirical sense of self is not a single continuous entity. Here the empirical sense of self means what? The individuality. It is not there continuously. It shifts and vanishes depending on the state of the mind. So that is the experience of all of us. In waking, Jagrat, the I identifies with the physical body, social roles, memories, and sensory inputs. So I will say I am the person of so and so age, I am born to so and so, I belong to so and so ashram, this is my profession and this is my status. And then in dream, swapna, the waking identity completely shuts down. Then a new dream I is born. It manifests instantly, fabricated with a different dream body, facing different situations in a dream. See, this waking personality, this waking I or individuality has no say in it, no entry. And this dream I has no entry into the waking. Then you have the deep sleep, sushupti, both the waking I and the dream I, they merge into the unmanifest. Lenake. The mind is dormant there, meaning the subject object duality is completely absent. Because this I appears and disappears, that individuality, it is changing costumes. It wears one costume in waking and it wears one more costume in dream. And in the same day, if you have, in the same night, if you have many dreams, then in each dream it will take one costume. In the waking, luckily, it is remaining same. But in dream, it is a different I. But when it goes to sleep at night every day, it is not even there. So that cannot be your permanent independent reality. Then what is the second I? It is the unbroken, ever present I. That is the self. While the individual entities come and go, something is there as a continuous bridge to all the three states. When you wake up, you know about it clearly. How you know you dreamed and you know you slept soundly without any dreams. When did you know all this? In waking. So there is something which is there continuously in all the three states. So now you know in waking that you have dreamt nicely and you had some funny dreams. And then in deep sleep, you remain there undisturbed, happily. You recognized all this now in waking. So there is a principle of continuity. To recognize the absence of dreams and absence of thoughts in deep sleep, something had to be present there to register that absence. When you wake up and say, I slept peacefully, I knew nothing, the word I does not refer to the waking intellect which was asleep, but to the underlying changeless consciousness, alaya sattaya, that has illuminated the deep sleep state. This distinction is precisely why self-inquiry works instantly. Here, we are not trying to create a new spiritualized ego. We are simply withdrawing attention from the intermittent I that changes with every thought and resting as the ever-present I that is already awake, aware, and untouched, even when the mind goes completely silent. See, self-inquiry, what are you doing? This limited I, you are bringing it to the surface. It is there always, but we don't even know that we are in under its clutches. So you are consciously, you are bringing it to the surface and you are inquiring what is this I. See, only that is required for that. Because we have not done that, we are under its sway. So when you question what is this I, what will happen? That I felt that it is your master and it is ruling you. But when you question what is this I, it really gets stunned. Stunned in the sense to such an extent that it will disappear. Say. And when it goes away, what is there? What is always there, it will present itself very vividly as your very experience. That's why this path is the direct path. It involves bringing the relative I to the surface and questioning it, and then in its absence, what is always there, it is remaining there as your very experience. Is this clear?
Maharaj, in the last class, you explained the Guru Maharaj's life. There, Guru Maharaj was struggling to come out from the Divine Mother, image of the Divine Mother. As you know, he is in his lifetime, he is filled with Viveka Vairagya, but still he is not able to come out from that. And he helped, the competent Guru was there, and he, through the competent Guru, is able to come out from that state. So my question is like, even the aspirant has got the Viveka Vairagya, enough Viveka Vairagya, but somewhere he may stuck without the help of competent Guru.
Ha.
So
Here, our Guru Maharaj, you cannot so loosely take him in this context. Why, you know? Because he has that Viveka Vairagya, it took him only a fraction of a second. Got it? Because he has that Viveka Vairagya, as and when he has decided to own the reality, then there is nothing that is coming in his way. The whole sadhana, what we are undertaking in the various forms, like the devotional sadhana or yoga sadhana, whatever, it is only to develop this Viveka and Vairagya. He has perfected those two through his worship of Kali Mata. He has Vairagya, that's why he is able to even transcend the name and form, including that of the deity. Then he has Viveka, that's why he did not get stuck in any ignorance or in the illusion of knowledge. Directly, he had access to his real nature. Even after understanding this, if we are having problem, then we have to say that is only because of these two. But we cannot apply this to him who has really demonstrated every quality that you can imagine to be more than 100%. Yes? Is it okay, or you want to add anything?
This is a role of a competent Guru in self-inquiry.
It is not only competent Guru. You should not think Guru is like a mule on whose back you can sit and ride comfortably to your Jivan Mukti. It is good, at least occasionally, to take the blame onto ourselves and see where we are lacking in this Viveka and Vairagya, and then develop that and get to the goal. Yes? Viveka Vairagya will help you even to recognize that Guru first. So even to recognize a Guru, that he is conducive for our for us to progress on this path, we need some Viveka and Vairagya. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll go further. So this is described in the Mandukya Mantra also. We have chosen to understand this text better. Adrishtam, Avyavaharyam, Agrahyam, Alakshanam, Achintyam, Avyapadeshyam, Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. So from the standpoint of senses and mind or aham, reality is Adrishtam, Avyavaharyam, Agrahyam, Achintyam, and Avyapadeshyam. What is this Adrishtam? Unseen, or it is unperceived, lying entirely beyond the reach of physical senses like sight or hearing. Adrishtam. Avyavaharyam, it is inaccessible to empirical transaction, meaning it cannot be handled or used in worldly activity. Then agrahyam, ungraspable, incapable of being seized by physical organs of action or held by the intellect. Then alakshanam, devoid of distinguishing marks like boundaries or gender or defining physical characteristics. Then achintyam, inconceivable or unthinkable, unable to be framed as a thought wave, mental image or concept. Avyapadeshyam, indescribable, inexpressible. So transcending all language, names and verbal categories. If the inquiry ended with these negations alone, one might conclude that ultimate reality is merely an empty void, shunya, or an unknowable, distant abstraction. That's why immediately following these negations, the Upanishad anchors the entire teaching in direct positive reality with the phrase Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. From the standpoint of the self, it is Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. See, from the real I standpoint, it is Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. If the limited I wants to know the reality, then what it is it? Will it be able to know it? It will remain an enigma for that I. So only when you transcend that I, then you will comprehend the reality as it is. Here Eka means what? One, undivided, non-dual. Atma, the true self, that is the irreducible subject or existence. Pratyaya, fundamental cognition or awareness of existence, the unbroken essence. Saram, the core existence or foundational substance. So together it defines reality as that whose sole essence and proof is the unbroken cognition of the one self as I. While the self is unthinkable and unseen as an object out in the world, it is never absent or unknown. It is the immediate self-luminous presence behind every experience, the very essence of the conscious awareness that says I exist across waking, dream and deep sleep. Is this mantra clear? Ekatma Pratyasaram can be interpreted in two ways. One, it is there in all the three states, just like as we have discussed in this mantra. The essential reality that is there in all the three states as their very substratum. One more way of looking at it is, this is the second thing what I am saying is not that very famous. That is, Ek Atma Pratyasaram, Atma Pratyaya. Here is the I thought. And Ekatma Pratyaya, it is that which is the essence of the I thought. The reality of this I is the reality. Like in Mandukya, it is presented as Turiya. So it is there in and through all the three states, but it is not any of these three states. That is Turiya. That is Ekatma Pratyasaram, which I told in the first definition. Second definition is directly coming towards self-inquiry. Here Atma Pratyaya, you have to take that which you are assuming to be Atma. So I cognition or I thought you can take. And the Saram, what is the reality of that? That is the reality. So this is Mandukya. Mandukya also is supporting this. So this directly mirrors Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's teachings in Upadesa Saara. When the ego dissolves, ahamilinake, all objective labels and mental constructs vanish into adrishtam and achintyam. What remains is not nothingness, but the indestructible being, alaya sattaya, denoted by the true I, aham pada abhikyam. So self-inquiry does not ask you to visualize a new exotic spiritual object. It simply traces the aham pratyaya back to its true non-dual source and essence. That is Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. Is this clear? So we are saying today the need for Viveka and Vairagya. The first four hurdles you will easily transcend with Vairagya. So if Vairagya is there, you will be able to easily trace the I thought and you will not be fascinated with the I thought anymore. You will subject it to inquiry. When, as and when it manifests itself. So when the thoughts come and try to take you for a ride, you know that they are not the real trouble. The trouble is the one that is hiding beneath them. That is the I thought. So once you are able to recognize the I thought, and then don't fall fascination to retain it, but expose it and question it, then the Vairagya is complete. Then comes the Viveka. Through Viveka, you don't settle to that Shunyata. If at all there is Shunyata, what you do there? If you have Viveka, you know that this is not the reality, because that Shunyata also will come and go. So that is not the reality. Then you felt that you had some pleasant state, and you felt that oh, this is only called realization, like that you felt for some time when you are sitting in a silent place. But if it is not there continuously, then that is also not reality. So recognizing that these two are not the reality, you require Viveka. So if Viveka is there, you transcend these two hurdles also. So through Vairagya and Viveka, we will handle all the 6 hurdles that can come up in this path of inquiry. Okay. Now as homework, you have to do this time 3 things. First, you have to revise what we discussed here thoroughly. Second, you continue with your practice of self-inquiry. Then third, you find out how this discussion will eliminate the 6th hurdle, that is the illusion of knowledge that I have not discussed still today. Find out how this discussion will eliminate the 6th hurdle, that is illusion of knowledge. So if the question is not clear, you hear again what is meant by illusion of knowledge. And you will understand it better if you see if that illusion of knowledge is there within you. And then you have to find out how this discussion will eliminate the 6th hurdle, that is the illusion of knowledge. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.